Good morning, everyone. I've got John White with me today from Spooky 2. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing well, thank you, Michelle.
Good, that's lovely to hear. I understand that you've got 2 new products that are coming onto the market, and one is called the Scalar Harmony, and the second one is called the Generator X Pro, which is for professionals. And I understand that you've got 2 PowerPoints to show us about those products today. Is that correct?
That's true. Well, it's great to be back onto your show again, Michelle. We've talked once before, and I wanted to come back and show you some new goodies that were coming up. And now they're released, so it's a great opportunity to go through and show what we have to offer. Now, there's 2 PowerPoints, which to this one here. So can you see my screen okay now?
Yeah,
Great.
I can see that.
Okay, so I'll play the slideshow from the start. Now, this was just a week ago, we released 2 new products. You can see here there's Scalar Harmony. Now, many of your followers may already have a spooky scalar, and Scalar's got a modulation port where you can run frequencies through the scalar field. Well, Scalar Harmony does the same thing, but it does it much more subtle, in a subtle way, and it does it with multiple frequencies simultaneously. An analogy is if you listen to a single instrument in an orchestra going pong, 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 or you listen to the whole orchestra. Spooky Harmony or Scalar Harmony is the whole orchestra playing at once. When you're doing meditation, for example, Michelle, you don't listen to a single tone going, That's not really ideal and conducive to a good meditation session. But you can play any audio through Scalar Harmony. That audio will be introduced into the scalar field. You can run audio such as Ho'oponopono, healing audio, sacred chants, all sorts of things, and that audio is going to every cell in your body. But I'm getting ahead of
incredible. That's really powerful. Yeah.
So
when it's running, John, when you've got your scalar machine and you're sitting between the scalar waves, you're saying that as you're sitting between the waves, you can hear whatever harmonies you want to put through at the same time. Do you have to have headphones on, or can you just hear it?
I'll come to
that. Or are you
moment.
saying that it...
hold that thought.
Okay.
Now, the scalar field passes through your body without any, without being blocked by your body. The cells in your body extract energy from that scalar field, and it extracts information. As you know, Michelle, you can put substances on the receiver coil. Scalar Harmony and puts the music directly into the scalar field without actually modulating the scalar field. The frequencies go directly into the scalar field. And the scalar field you cannot hear with your ears. So even if you're playing music to Scalar Harmony, you won't hear it. But there's a secret little switch on the side here, which if you switch it to one side, you can hear the audio. And some people like to listen to the gentle, harmonious tones or subliminal messages whilst they're within the scalar field, but it's not necessary to have it on for your body to receive the information. Okay,
how does the music frequencies of the sound, if say you wanted to hear them or not,
yes,
are they programmed into this piece of equipment, or is this going to be in the, where would you find it? How would you set it to play through your scalar equipment?
I think that's on page number 8 or so. We'll thunder our way through this PowerPoint, and then Most of your questions hopefully will be answered throughout the course. It's a unit that fits neatly on the receiver coil, so it's not very large. It comes with a cable for connecting your audio devices and the necessary bits and pieces and an instruction manual, but it's very simple to use. And the main structure is the unit itself, a little hole in the underside to make sure that it's positioned in the right position. And it's got an audio input port as well. This is it with its side view. The cable allows you to plug in virtually any source of audio. It can be an iPhone, it can be an Android phone or an old-fashioned phone using 3.5mm cable. It's even got an RCA port and a Type-C USB. It's got basically every audio source output covered, and the other side of the cable plugs straight into the side here. Now, Scalar Harmony works very well with Spooky Scalar. It actually you tune it before you put the Scalar Harmony on. The Harmony actually increases the strength of the scalar field, which is quite remarkable.
Wow.
It means that you can now, through the scalar field, run music, any audio therapeutic effect music, even RIFE audio frequencies. And all these channels you have on YouTube, you can just capture the audio and play it back through the Scalar Harmony. And it helps you to feel relaxed or concentrated or energetic, depending on what you're playing, and whilst you're in the scalar field. Okay, now this is a video which I'd like to play. It just goes through the instructions on how to use it. Oops.
How to use Scalar Harmony, unpacking, connecting, and more. Hi. In this video, we will demonstrate a step-by-step procedure of how to turn on your Spooky 2 Scalar Harmony and start your first relaxing session. Inside your Scalar Harmony pack, you will receive a Spooky 2 Scalar Harmony, a user manual, a locating button with sticker on one side, a button template for assisting a precise placement of the locating button, and a multiple input audio cable. You can play instrumental music, solfeggio frequencies, and RIFE healing programs via Scalar Harmony. Also, if you are an advanced Scalar user, you can combine molecular scalar energy with Scalar Harmony. Scalar Harmony has the molecular modulation perfectly built in on its handle. You can place a glass containing a few drops of essential oil on the place shown below. Before you connect your Scalar Harmony to an audio source, please set up your Scalar unit first. Place the transmitter and receiver on either side of a chair or a bed. Try to keep them as far apart as possible. Connect the 12V power adapter to the transmitter power port.
I love those gloves.
Plug the link cable into the transmitter and receiver link connectors. Try to keep the link cable away from metallic objects. Turn on and tune the transmitter. New versions of Spooky 2 Scalar are already prepared for Scalar Harmony. If you purchase Spooky 2 Scalar after February 23, 2022, you can jump straight to 3 minutes, 38 seconds. If you purchase Spooky 2 Scalar before this date, you can perform the next simple steps to upgrade Spooky 2 Scalar yourself. Then, place your Scalar Harmony at the correct location shown on the receiver plate. Please use the locating button and the button template provided to assist you. Place the button template on the receiver plate so the switch button fits neatly inside the hole of the template. And make sure the other hole is right on top of the small white circle on the receiver plate. On every locating button, there is a double-sided sticker. Peel off the white coat of the sticker. Carefully place and stick the locating button inside the other hole of the button template. The sticker is quite hard to remove once it sticks to the receiver plate, so be sure to fasten it in the correct position. When the locating button is firmly stuck to the receiver plate, remove the button template and place Spooky 2 Scalar Harmony on the receiver coil. The locating button should fit snugly into the small hole under the handle. Plug the audio input into the audio input port. Plug the other end of the cable into the headphone output of your audio device. In this video, I will use an iPhone as an example. Plug the Lightning cable into the Lightning USB port on the iPhone. Open a music player app on the iPhone. Choose a music or song to play. Here, I will select an instrumental music. Make sure the sound of the iPhone is not on mute. It is best to keep the audio player and cables away from the Spooky 2 Scalar unit during use. Now, you may relax and enjoy the magic of scalar harmony.
Wow, that's incredible.
That audio switch, you don't normally have it on, Michelle. It's just to confirm that the audio is working.
Yeah,
Most people
so you know that it's playing.
Yeah, but you can turn it off.
Actually, so actually, say you were sleeping between the Scalar boxes, which is what I tend to do.
Yes.
You could have that music playing, but you wouldn't be able to hear it. But the frequency of it would still be
absolutely
healing you. Wow.
You know, a lot of people mention how when they've been within the scalar field after a while, they don't feel the effects so strong. That is because the scalar field is unchanging. It's always static. But once you introduce sound and different sound, you can run different sounds on different nights. The experience changes all the time. So your body's always healing in different areas. It's quite remarkable, just the effects of introducing audio into the scalar field.
It's incredible. And what I must say as well is I've been using Scalar for, this is what coming into my 4th month.
Yes.
And I have it positioned at either end of the house so that it runs through me while I'm sleeping.
Right.
So I have one box at one end in one bedroom, if you like, and then one box by my bed, and they face each other so that the Scalar runs through the entire top layer of the house. And what I've noticed is my energy levels have gone higher and higher and higher, and I'm getting up earlier and earlier now, whereas before getting up in the morning was always, no, I never liked mornings.
Right.
And now finding that my energy is up and ready to go, and I'm sleeping a lot better as well.
Right. There's a lot of very wonderful audios that you can play through Scalar. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian healing chant. It's very simple.
Yeah.
And we actually provide that.
My
it's very
friend,
powerful. I beg your pardon?
My friend Jackie White, who's also an interviewer, she interviews lots of different spiritual teachers and different people in this movement, the truth movement. And she's always talking about Ho'oponopono, which I can never say correctly. She's a very strong believer in that Hawaiian mantra. So
That's
I think she's going to love hearing.
It's amazing, Ho'oponopono. It can change everything around you. and even things. Yes, you've got to change your mindset completely. But what it can do is it can perform miracles, real miracles. And it's just so simple. All you do is you just say 4 simple sentences, short sentences. But I'll be getting that to it in a moment as well, because I'm going to talk about another hardware device which which works very well in conjunction with this. Okay, so this is just going through the connections which was highlighted in the illustrated in the video. Now, Mindful Audio is another device that we've released. It's a portable audio player. It's extremely convenient to just plug into Scalar Harmony, and you just set it up, and there's a loop button which you just press here, this one here, and it just plays the track and the loops again, or you can loop a whole series of tracks together. It's very simple to use. I haven't got one here to show you, but and in this presentation it makes it look very complicated, but it's not. You turn it on, it starts playing straight away, so that sort of device I like. And it plays directly from a special small memory card which comes with it.
Yeah.
The card has a large memory capacity, so I can hold an enormous number of songs. And you can connect Mindful Audio directly into your computer and transfer it to this Mindful Audio as if it's a hard drive itself, which is very convenient. So you can download anything that's on the internet, which means everything under the sun. Now, it comes preloaded with audio that we consider ourselves to be the most healing and most important tracks to play. The deep sleep and relaxing music, fall asleep fast, mindful meditation, and the guide for brainwave quantum healing. These are very, very important audio guides that train your body to be a certain way. The Ho'oponopono, we've got that on track number 5. That sends the sacred chant through the scalar field, and that's magic. There's a Chinese version which is kind of similar to Ho'oponopono, but looks at things from a different angle, and that can be used in conjunction with the brainwave quantum healing. Then there's a energy healing sutra. There's number 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. They all cover different parts of energy healing. There's the general one. The Great Compassion is a very powerful one. After the energy healing, we've got the ones created by Yang Jean Lamu, who was a Grammy Award winner. She won an award for words for wish fulfillment. That's a remarkable mantra. That's number 17. You can just press number 17 on the keypad and it goes straight to that. You can play it and loop it. Her ones are very wonderful to put through your body. And starting on number 23 is Lao Fun's 4 Lessons, which is an audio guide for changing destiny. You're not. You may be born with a bad deck of hands. You might have serious health conditions, or just bad luck with finances, or all sorts of things. Not many friends. The Lao Fun's 4 Lessons was a book that's written in I think it's the 1600s, from a man to his son to pass on the wisdom. It was never meant to become anything big, but it was so profound that it was passed through many generations, eventually published into a book, and then translated into all the languages under the sun. This is the audio book version of the Lao Fun's 4 Lessons. And so that's that concludes everything that's on the track. And there's room for much more if people wish to put their own tracks on there and just add to that list.
So once again, once again, John, what you're saying is you could actually have those playing, but silently while you sleep, or you
Yes.
can listen to them if you want to.
That's
You have
right.
the option.
Yes.
Okay.
Mindful
Right.
audio has a very small speaker, so don't expect high fidelity quality. It's just
Yeah.
really in the background. Its main function was to confirm that the audio is going to.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but people can leave it on by all means. It doesn't alter the information through the scalar field. Because the tracks are stereo, one channel goes to the scalar harmony, the other one goes to the speaker, so they work independently.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just going through the instructions how to select music, but I'll gloss over them because it really makes it look very complicated. Oh, it's got Bluetooth as well. You can leave this connected on all the time and just connect to Bluetooth by your phone.
Yeah.
And you'll see mindful audio will come up. So you just connect to the mindful audio, and then any audio that your phone would normally produce, it can be your favorite band. You can play your favorite band through Scalar.
Yeah.
The good thing about
or maybe you could play classical music or anything,
which is very healing.
Very relaxing.
Absolutely.
Or you could play your favorite sort of visualization or something like that you follow when you're meditating, you know.
Right, exactly. The audio that's being sent through the scalar field is high fidelity. It's very high quality. The speaker that's on the unit is very small, so that sounds very tinny. But the important thing is the scalar field, and that quality is extremely high. Some people have experimented using old AM radios that can tune up to the frequency, the tuned frequency of the scalar, which generally is around 5.6 megahertz. They tune the radio and then they can hear the audio, and it's very high quality. Of course, they can't hear it with their ears, but it's within the scalar field, which is quite interesting. And this is talking about you can use the mindful audio as a computer speaker. Not that you need to, because every computer's got a speaker, hasn't it? But the facility's there. And it's like a jiu-jitsu knife. I think it's a jiu-jitsu that it comes with everything. But wait, there's more. There's a little flashlight on the side. So that's really designed to help you connect the cables if you're in a dark place. Quite often, for meditating, it's nice to be in a dark area. And that just helps you with the cables if you're setting it up.
Oh, you've thought everything through.
And it's got a shutdown timer as well. So if you decide you want to run it for 3 hours and then just doze off in fairyland for the rest of the evening, you can do that. And this was an offer. It's still current for the month of April because it's just recently they released it. So we've got a special deal on the Harmony, but we would recommend that you buy directly through Michelle. Michelle is a friend of Spooky, so she will help you make your purchase. Is that right? Would you have a link for this on your website?
Yeah, so what we can do is obviously I can put all the links below this video, and then you can come straight through and purchase it directly from my website. I have a web page set up just for all your products, John. Great.
So this makes it nice and easy then.
Yeah.
And you get 1 month's free membership of frequencyhills.com. This is a website which we established 2 years ago, which has a lot of meditation and healing frequencies. They're frequencies. I want to explain something, Michelle. RIFE frequencies, when played through a generator, only play one frequency at a time. What you can do using our website for the files is to play all the tones simultaneously. So these tones are supporting each other.
Wow.
So you get a greater effect.
Yeah, because on the RIFE machine, it runs one frequency and then it goes on to the next one and then the next one. And you're saying that they all will run at the same time?
Correct. That's right. Now, it does not ship with batteries. It comes with a special, it needs a special battery. It's 18650. It's an industrial standard. But to ship it from us, it would more than double the cost of the unit. And these batteries aren't expensive. This is quite an expensive one from Amazon, but you can get them on eBay and other places cheaper. So if you can just buy these batteries, then you can run it without having to have it connected to a USB port for power. But this is why we didn't include the batteries. There's so much of a headache with the legal side of shipping batteries. We decided, no, it's too much for us. Okay, so this is our Frequency Heals website, improve mind and body connection. And so this is, okay, so that concludes the presentation of our...
Wow, that's so interesting. And
our first product.
And you're saying that the audio inside the scalar field, which in my opinion is already quite a powerful healing mechanism,
Absolutely.
it absolutely enhances the whole scalar frequency because you're adding the audio tones. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you tune the scalar, you tune it until the light is brightest, which is around 5.6 megahertz. If you do leave the tuning light on, which you're not supposed to, but if you leave it on and you put the scalar harmony on the top, you'll see that light become brighter, even without audio going through it. That's how carefully we've tuned the audio, the scalar harmony to the scalar.
That light, I find that light very useful because then you know that you've got everything set up correctly, but then you switch the light off when you're actually using it.
That's right.
So it doesn't drain any of the power to the light.
Exactly.
But the light is very useful to help you realize that you've actually got the scalar set up in the correct way and there's a field actually circulating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so interesting. So did you have a second new product as well that you wanted to talk about today, John? Was it the Generator X Professional? Yeah,
that's right. Generator X Pro. It's actually the third product I'm showing you today because I squeezed two into one. But the other one...
Oh, yes. Yes,
you did. Very sneaky. I just slipped it on the side. But now, Generator X Pro, we never actually planned this, Michelle, because Generator X is a very capable generator in itself. But because of the pandemic and global shortages of components, we're forced to find alternatives. So we were looking around in a mild state of panic. It's like when you take your car into the garage and they tell you it needs part X, but you've got to ship it in from this place and they've run out of stock. You've got to wait 3 months. But we're in a situation having to wait 12 months, Michelle, which was just out of the question. So, we stockpiled before the pandemic really took hold, but we got down to the bare minimum and we couldn't buy any more stock. So we were forced to change the components. So we were looking on the market. Nothing was available except for the very high-end components that no one would buy because they're expensive.
Yeah.
So we did a bit of soul searching and we decided, no, we're not going to downgrade. Generator X is our premium product. That's the best RIFE generator in the world. There's no way we're going to compromise. So what we did in the end, we changed every single computer that's inside Generator X. Not just that, but we increased the number of generators, the number of computers. It used to have 3 computers, Michelle. Now it's got 4. Because adding that other one, because the other 3 are so powerful, they can work together and they can do more things. So the overall, I've got a presentation to show you. Maybe I'll show you in the presentation. So I share my screen again.
Just before we go into the presentation, the Generator X, just so that people are aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, is the next level up from the little blue box. So you've got a blue box, which is a RIFE machine. And the Generator X is a RIFE machine, which works, I think, faster and quicker in terms of the biofeedback scans. And also you can have, is it 2 ports, 2 remote ports on it? Is that correct? Is that the difference?
Yes, well, basically, there's a bit more, but maybe I can show you in the PowerPoint.
Okay.
But it's 2 generators built into one Generator X.
Wow.
So it's actually got 4 ports. And with the later versions of Spooky, you can run 4 remotes on one Generator X. You can run 2 different programs. But
okay,
let's see whether I can do this successfully as well. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint which I just presented today. Now it's quite a coincidence because today is the big release date for this generator. This is our Generator X Pro. Pro just means it's a professional version. It's not just for professionals, it's for the everyday person, but the extra speed and accuracy and other things make it the professional version. Now Generator X is or was the world's most powerful RIFE generator. The crown's been moved now. This is the older Generator X. It contains 2 generators, 4 frequency outputs, and 4 biofeedback systems for the 2 generators. It could run at, or can run at 40 megahertz with any waveform. It can load up to 30 programs for offline use. It doesn't need a computer to be connected. This is just going through what we have prior to today. So there's the Generator X. You can see the 4 ports here for the 2 different generators. And it's explaining how you control the generator in offline mode, which is pretty simple. Just push those buttons and away you go. On the screen, you can see the program names that you just select and then run. Up to 200 frequencies per program. Biofeedback is much faster than Spooky Pulse, as you know. You just connect yourself with TENS pads. You connect the TENS pads directly to output number 1. You don't use Spooky Boost like it shows in this graphic here. And then you just start the biofeedback part of Spooky and you're away. Now this is our Generator X Pro. It looks very similar to the older Generator X. It's a good reason for it. Well, I'd say similar. We didn't have much time to change it. And besides, it looks beautiful anyway. Remember, this was pretty much done in an emergency situation. So we didn't want to redesign something which is good anyway. The look has changed a tiny bit with the frame around the controls, but not really large changes. But the big changes have happened inside the unit. There's been a lot of very expensive components put in there. Okay, so what are the changes you might be asking yourself? What will people notice? Well, the frequency resolution. Generator X above 40 kilohertz has got 2 decimal places, which is pretty good. This has got 8 decimal places, right up to 40 megahertz. 8 decimal places. There's no other RIFE generator on the planet that can go anywhere near this for resolution.
Does this mean that you get a finer, purer accuracy?
That's right.
Okay.
Especially for biofeedback. If it'll tell you it'll be 100.1234567 That's the exact frequency hit that your body provides. And of course, when the frequency is more precise, the results are also better.
Exactly.
In offline mode, the Generator X could only do 2 decimal places at any time. This one is always fixed at 8 decimal places, even in offline mode. That's how much horsepower it has. Amplitude modulation, that's a way of mixing 2 different signals. It's a very powerful way of doing this. Before it was done, it was performed using discrete components. That's my little girl crying in the background, sorry about that. And each component would introduce a bit of distortion to the signal. This the Pro version does amplitude modulation within one of the computers itself. And so it's pure, very pure signal. And the final thing is the firmware is upgradable. So unlike Generator X, in a later date, if we add a new feature or make something better, we can give instructions on how users can make their Generator X Pro the new version, the very latest, just through the firmware upgrade. For free, of course, we'd never charge. Okay, we've got a sale for this as well. Now, I've got to tell you something about the price, Michelle. It costs us $90 more to produce. The computers are horribly expensive, and this is why I'm thinking why they're still available, because most people would balk at the price. We've had to add to the price of these, but we've only increased that by $70. So we've cut it fine. And this is the specifications. In red are the changes in the between Generator X and the Pro. Its internal memory has been increased. The speed of the advanced STM core computers has been increased to 64 megahertz. This FPGA is an incredibly powerful computer. It's more powerful than most desktop computers that people would be using today. And it's got an extremely high sample rate of 300 million SPS. And of course, the frequency resolution has changed as well, up to 0.01 microhertz. Micro is 1 millionth of a hertz. So it's 0.01 millionth of a hertz. That is absolutely incredible accuracy.
Yeah.
Only this can do it. We don't know any other RIFE generator that can do it. In fact, there isn't any RIFE generator that can do it. So when you're buying a Generator X Pro, you're buying something which is absolutely leading edge. There won't be anything in the next decade that could match this for performance, and it's firmware upgradable. So it's like future-proofing.
And it's my understanding, because I think I tried this myself before Christmas, you can add the Generator X RIFE machine to the Scalar and feed it through the Scalar. Is that correct? So that the RIFE,
that's true.
The RIFE healing waves can come through the Scalar boxes.
That's right. And that works quite well. That works quite well. I would still be more inclined to use Scalar Harmony, because through a generator, the field is quite hard on or off according to the frequency being injected. But Scalar Harmony is pure waves. It can be, it's the exact audio wave, not being changed to square waves into a tone, if you like, but the pure wave.
Okay.
And interestingly, DNA communicates through scalar field. So it's talking the language of our bodies, which could be why it's having such a profound effect on people when they run Scalar Harmony.
Yeah. Well, so it's definitely helped. One of the things that I have noticed with using Scalar and the RIFE machines are that I used to have chronic migraines. And when I say chronic, I mean daily.
Gosh.
And I was on medication for that every day to stop that, just basically, making me unable to do anything.
Oh, yeah,
but since I've had these machines running, which, as I said, I'm into about the 4th month now, I'm getting probably 1 or 2 migraines a month. And so that means that the daily medication, which I was taking before, I don't have to take anymore. I only have to take it out, as and when. Wonderful. So I'm not taking a medication as a preventative anymore. I'm only taking it as and when. So that in itself is like a 90% improvement. And my energy, as I was saying earlier in the interview, it just increases like week on week. And something happened probably about 10 to 14 days ago where we had a power cut, and unbeknown to me, my boxes had switched themselves off.
Oh, no.
And I obviously didn't notice because they just normally run in the background. You set them up and you get on with your life.
That's right.
And I started to realize there was something not right because I could feel it in my general well-being. Because when the boxes are running, they give me a higher level of well-being, a feeling of well-being, and there was something not right. And I thought, I better just go and check what's happening with the machines. And rightly enough, we'd had a power cut and it had switched them off. And everything had gone to the off button. It was all gone red and it wasn't on anymore. I don't quite know how that happened, but that was why I could notice the difference. That's what made me go and check.
Yes, yes.
So, it gives you for me, I'm not saying this is going to be exact for everybody, obviously. I'm just talking about my own personal experiences with it, is that I'm sleeping better. It's giving me more energy. It's cut down, as I said, the migraines, and it gives you a sense of well-being, an aura of well-being, which I always feel quite well in my mental health anyway. But what I'm saying is it just gives you this extra, for me, it feels like an extra layer. So I don't know if you hear that from other people, but that's just how I'm experiencing it right now.
We hear about it every day. And we experience it ourselves because, of course, we've got spooky equipment in our house and where we work.
Yes.
And so we get the healing waves passing through us in many different ways. With Scalar Harmony, of course, we had many different prototypes. And so we've been using it for quite a while. When I first started using Scalar, I dreamt in colour first time, and this continued for a few days, and then that sort of, I guess I went back to the old black and white days again. But when I started using Harmony, then I had these extremely vivid dreams again, and they haven't stopped. They continued because there's certain things which I would want. Might want to have a family member become well. So I tune a different... Now, Ho'oponopono allows you to heal people that are not present. You just have to think of them as you're chanting. And so I was thinking about them while I was drifting off into sleep within the scalar field. And lo and behold, they tell me some fantastic news in 2 days' time, like, hey, I'm feeling great, and there's no need to go to the doctor anymore because of, I'm feeling so much better now. And so
it's incredible, but this is the power of this sort of quantum energy, isn't it? That everything is energy, thoughts are energy, the healing frequencies that these boxes are providing are quantum energy. So you're getting quantum entanglement because you're connecting it to your DNA sample, and then you're going about your life, and the healing knows where to find you, basically, because of the quantum entanglement. It's just, to me, really, it is what people have been calling med beds. Everyone's been sort of saying, when are these med beds coming? And I actually think that this technology is actually med beds already. I think this is actually already available, because your technologies are doing what people want the med beds to actually do, which is working on sound, frequency, and vibration.
That's right.
So, John, just before you go today, I just got a few little questions that have been coming into me that I wondered if you wouldn't mind answering, or perhaps giving us a bit of background on. Would that be okay?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so, well, first of all, I've actually got a personal story about my dog. At Christmas, I had a dog who's a Chihuahua, who's very small. He's only this big. And right on Christmas, about the 21st of December, I think it was, he just suddenly collapsed. Gosh. And we found out from the vet that he had meningitis. And through giving him a steroid called prednisone, they were able to decipher that he had a bacterial meningitis.
Okay.
And so I took a little piece of his nail, and in the remote on the RIFE machine, I started to run a prednisone program and a broad spectrum antibiotic program.
Yes.
And this dog now, he's back and up again. He's not on any medication from the doctor. And he was so ill. And so what that also did was it saved me a lot of money in having to buy those expensive medications from the vet, because they charge a lot of money for those medications. But it also means that things like steroid, when you're giving them to animals for a long period of time, it can bring their immune system down. So they feel great while they're on it, but then it leaves them susceptible every time you keep trying to take them off.
That's right.
So when he finished his initial course from the vet, this was what was happening. Every time we kept trying to wean him down, his immune system was responding to the fact that the prednisone was becoming lowered. So I put the RIFE machine on, running in conjunction with his DNA, which was his nail. And what we managed to do then was to bring the actual prednisone that the vet had given me right down whilst running the program alongside. And so we had he didn't go downhill. We were just able to switch from one directly to the other. The vet was quite surprised at. I tried to kind of explain a little bit about how that was all operating, but the vet was a bit busy anyway. But it's quite hard to explain to a vet these quantum ideas, but when they're used to giving dogs medication and they like to give injections and things, they're in the old training zone. But in terms of how it's helped my little dog, this week he also had a little bit of a stomach upset. So what I do now is I go to the vet to get the diagnosis, and then I don't buy the medications now. I just come home and run the program from the machine based on putting his DNA in the little sensor. So again, that's another testimonial of how it's affected me in my day-to-day life with my own pets. And the reason I'm sort of talking about that is because a lot of people have been asking me about pets and can they use it. And I think we did talk a little bit about this before when I saw you. But I wondered if you could just run through again any of the ideas that you have or different options that are available for helping animals. Obviously, I've got a very small animal that I'm talking about, but let's say you might have a horse or a farm animal or any kind of animal. Could you what would be your recommendation in that situation?
There's two easy ways of healing a pet, because pets quite often don't follow rules. You might tell them to sit still and then they go wandering and vice versa. And that's the biggest problem. So it's hard to connect anything to them. And of course, they're covered in fur. We are, as a company, one of our aims is to eliminate needless suffering. And that doesn't mean just humans. It means our best friends and loved ones have also got 4 legs as well as 2. So we have in our database quite a few programs for treating animals, albeit cats, dogs, horses, mice, all our friends that are blessed with more fur than us. So there's quite a few diseases already available within the database that you can choose from. But or you can choose, any drug that's in the molecular weight database to apply drug frequencies as well, or essential oil or other natural compounds as well.
Yeah.
But the way to apply these is always a bit of a problem. There's 2 ways you could do it. Now, you've mentioned that you've got the scalar field through your whole house. So you can put one expensive tablet on your receiver coil, and then you can have the molecular scalar sending the information of that tablet through to your pet, who can be anywhere in the house, but it's still going to be treated. That's one option. Of course, you can use the new Scalar Harmony, which has got the molecular cavity, the well, if you like, for placing a capsule. Yeah. Or you can run a frequency of the healing substances or a healing chantra. They also work for pets. You know, even plants grow better if you just talk to them, just give them encouragement. And I notice your plants look very healthy. No doubt you do quite a lot of talking to them as you don't just water them, do you? Sort of, come on, guys, you know.
Yes, I think they pick up on the scalar. Yes, I think they do pick up on the scalar.
Oh, absolutely. And also, but the other way,
the other thing is I only water them with like spa water. They don't have tap water. They're quite spoiled, actually, my plants.
Yes, they look very happy. If you could see it, you could see them smiling. So the other way I'd treat a pet would be through a remote, which is exactly what you did with your Chihuahua. Just a nail clipping is probably ideal because it lasts a long time. And just put that in the speaker remote and then run a healing program through that. So that would be the best two options, I'd think, for the pet. There have been people that have treated dog tumors in contact mode because the dog, in advanced stages of cancer, quite often become immobile. And so they want to have like a focused, large amounts of energy in that area. And so in that case, you want to use contact mode. Yeah.
When you say contact mode, do you mean, because obviously of the fur again, would you use those metal?
Yes.
Oh, they shave
the fur.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you just put the sticker
on either side of where the tumor is.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we've had quite a few people doing that.
Yeah, because it's always the fur that's preventing you getting the biofeedback, isn't it?
That's right.
So even if you develop, say, like when you walk a dog and you can put a harness around them to put and then you clip the lead on. Yes. Even if you had a sensor in that, it wouldn't work, would it? Because you've got the fur layer. So even if you developed that, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, but it's all dogs are of different sizes, so we'd have to have the whole range.
Yeah.
So it would be complex. But people have used.
Yeah, go on.
People use their imagination. With the TENS pads, they stick on, so they generally shave a little bit of the fur off, and then just where the pad goes, and put the pad there, and then they keep the pad there for a period of time.
That's a good idea. So in terms of pad placement, because when we're doing it on us, we put one on one arm and then one on the opposite ankle.
That's right.
So if you were going to put it on an animal, the pad placement, is there anything that we need to be aware of, like where not to put it, for instance?
Sure. We recommend on people to avoid your heart, which is on your left of your chest. So you can get the TENS pads on your right wrist, left ankle, so that it bypasses the heart. With animals, you don't want to do the same thing. Just avoid the heart and avoid the face area. Animals generally have quite strong necks, but the face you want to avoid because the skin is very sensitive there, even with animals.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for that one. Then I don't know if you watched the Oscars recently, but there was a bit of an outburst because the guy who was hosting, called Chris Rock, had made a comment about Will Smith's wife, who's suffering from alopecia. And there was a big drama, and Will Smith punched Chris Rock on this live Oscars program. And everyone was saying it was because Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company, were actually sponsoring that program, and that they're currently creating a drug for alopecia. And so the whole sort of talk right now is that it was all a big setup so that Pfizer could get more people to look at their drug. And the reason I'm telling you that story is because I would imagine that actually your system has got something within it that could help people with alopecia anyway. So I was just sort of leading in with that story. People were worried about hair loss, for instance. Could they use the one of the programs or the systems, particularly if it's like that female hair loss that they were talking about on the Oscars with Will Smith's wife?
Yeah, there are programs for hair loss. There's you can run these programs through the remote. There's you wouldn't want to put TENS pads across your skull, in contact mode. So you can apply the frequencies by remote. But another thing which is very simple to use is our cold laser series, Mirror Mate. We've got a large light pad, and you can just place that over your head for a while in this place, and then place it over. Or if you've got a patch in your head that's balding, you can just hold it over the patch.
So the Mirror Mate that I have, it comes with probes that you can either put in your nose if you've got sinus or cold, or you can put it in your ears if you've got earache. But what's the bit you're talking about? I don't think I've got that bit.
Is your one on your wrist? You wear it like
yes, it's got like a watch device.
Light pad is a larger light source. It's, I don't know how to scale, but it's quite a large unit. It's got more lasers than the wrist, cold laser wrist, and it does a larger area evenly. And so you just move this over your head, and the mitochondria within the cells of your follicles gets the energy.
Stimulated.
It's like recharging the batteries within the cells so that the follicles have the energy to grow.
And that's under the Mirror Mate range.
That's right.
Yeah. So I know that when I had the freaky flu at Christmas, I was using the Mirror Mate in the morning because it helps with any sinus or like flu-related symptoms. I mean, I had the Rolls Royce of things going on at Christmas because I had the Scalar, which I was sleeping in between. I had the blue boxes running, and I also had these little probes. And I had to remember when I answered the door to the postman not to have the probes in my nose, because it makes your nose go red while the lights go.
Well, it's Christmas season.
He would be thinking that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is actually opening the door. So you have to remember to not answer the door when you're using your lights, your probes for your cold or your sinuses. So what was the other thing I wanted to ask you? So there's just one other thing that's happening today, actually. And it's called, now my friend Alexander Quinn, who's also a truther and talks on YouTube and sometimes interviews with me, he talks a lot about solar storms and geomagnetic storms. And apparently we're having one hitting us right now, which is called a KP7. And apparently the highest it can go is an 8. And the KP register just registers how intense the storm is. The geomagnetic storm. And what it can do is create within technology like satellites and things, it can disturb them, but also us as physical organic beings, it can affect us and give us very intense like ascension symptoms and things like that. And I don't know if you've ever heard of these solar storms and things before, John, but is there a program that people could run, particularly, when these big geomagnetic storms hit and we're aware of them coming in? They do affect the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance, spikes, when these things are happening. But the reason I'm talking about this today is because apparently, as I was saying, this KP7 is one of the highest we've ever seen in terms of readings. And it's about to hit. So this weekend, people are going to be, apparently quite wiped out with it if they're very sensitive and they're still upgrading in their ascension journey. So what do you think, is there something you could suggest, perhaps a program or something that would help with ascension symptoms?
Yes, there's two program suggestions which I'd like to make. I'd recommend applying the Human Resonance program, because that's the natural frequency of the Earth, not from the sun, but from the Earth. The other one is the brainwave frequencies. So your brain doesn't go off on a tangent. You can, we have programs for sleep assistance, the alpha, beta, theta. Well, you can run normal awareness programs of brainwaves just to maintain your sanity during this crazy weekend.
Yes. Well, that's really incredible. Every time I speak to you, there's so much information, so many new things, so many incredible things that you can do. And I'm actually learning all the time. I'm not a technical person, so I know my way around what I need to do in order for me to set it up and what I need. So when I hear of all these other things that are a possibility, it makes me very excited to learn how to add more things in each time I use it.
Right.
It's been lovely speaking to you today, John. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we go?
Well, just like to pass a message on to your viewers to pass love forwards, and if they're already doing so, continue doing so. We have to make the world a better place. We've got wars, we've got so much strife. Most of the problems are created by humans. Even this pandemic we're in the middle of, that was created by humans, either intentionally or otherwise, and I don't really care. The fact is that the matter is it's there. The only way we can overcome all these obstacles is to pass love forwards, help people that you don't know, your loved ones. Just continue growing and do your best to make the world a better place. That's the message I'd like to give to everyone.
That's an amazing message to finish with, and it's been lovely seeing you again today, John. So have a lovely rest of your week and look forward to seeing you on our next interview.
Fantastic. Thank you for inviting me. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.